Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In almost all of the previous videos, I have used these two lines of code to find the last row and last column dynamically in the dataset. The problem is that if you're just starting with VBA, these two lines of code may be a little bit difficult to understand, so I thought to make a dedicated video for those. So I'm going to delete this 4 lines of code. And let's see first how to find the last row. Before indeed finding the last row in the dataset, it is very important to know your dataset well. And above all, it's important to know which column or columns are supposed to not have any blank cells. In this dataset, which is again IMDb top 1000 extract, and I have deliberately deleted some cell values. But since we have information about movies, then I don't expect that we have blank cells in column A where the movie names are. So I'm going to find the last row in column A. And the proper way to do this is to first go to the very last row and very last cell in column A. And then there is this keyboard combination Control up. So that's what we're going to do in VBA, but we're going to do it in a few steps. So first, let's select the very last cell in column A. And the very last cell is on row 1,048,576. So one way to do this is to write cells 1,048,576.1.select. The problem is that it's very likely that I will mistype this. So instead, we can simply ask Excel to count how many rows there are on the worksheet for us. So here, if I write in the immediate window rows.count and click enter, we'll see the same number here. So there's no need to hard code it here. So I will write rows.count here. And if I now click run, Excel will select the last cell in column A. Anything we select in Excel is stored in an object called selection. So I can write on a new line selection, and this is where we can do the equivalence of this shortcut combination on the keyboard Control up by using the end property and passing here Excel up, and again use the select method. So if I now click run, this will select the last non-blank cell in column A. And now the thing which is left to do is to write debug.print selection.row. If I click run, we'll see that this is row 1001. But of course, in real world projects, there's no need to write this in 3 lines. Instead, what we're going to do is, at least I like to declare a variable, which I always call last row, and it's going to be of data type long, and simply write cells. The row will be rows.count, column 1, and Excel up.row. And just to test that this returns the same result, I can write debug.print last row. And if I click run, we can see 1001. Now let's do the same with the last column. For the last column, it's important to know on which row the header or the column names are located. Because lately I'm seeing some Excel spreadsheets where people merge the first few rows and add some logo or banner or something like that. Then in this case, this must be taken into an account. But in my dataset, the headers are on the first row, so I can apply the same logic and go to the very last cell from row 1. So go to column XFD. So I can write here cells on row 1, and I know that this is column index 16,384. But again, there's no need to memorize this, because if I ask here Excel to count the columns for us, we will see the same number. So instead of hard coding, this is going to be columns.count, and I can write select. And if I now click run, Excel selects this cell XFD1. And since it's selected, it's stored in the selection object. So once again, I can use the end property, but this time pass Excel to left here and use the select method. And finally, I can write debug print selection dot column. So if I now click run, this returns 7. But once again, this is too much typing for such trivial task. So instead, what I like to do is to declare a variable which I always call last call. And it can be of data type integer, because integer allows values up to 32,700 something, which is way better than 16,384, well, way greater. So I can use integer here. And on a single line, simply write cells on row 1, columns.count, and Excel to left dot column. And if I now print it in the immediate window, we should see 7. So if I now want to go to the very last cell of the used data, then I can simply write cells. The row will be last row, and the column will be last call, and I can select. So if I click run, Excel selects the very last cell. So that's it for today. Hopefully it's understandable now. And let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.